it's a Facebook, it's a page, not a group, for an old zine, like a gay zine from like the early to mid 90s, called, I don't, how do you pronounce it? Is it Chiron Rising or Chiron Rising? Like Chiron, because it's like a thing. It's like I think it's like an astrological thing.
Oh, I would not know. I can't even
I
say.
always I've always said Chiron, or is it like Chiron Rising? Maybe, I don't know. I've always said
Let's
Chiron.
make it. Let's agree to something, and we'll stick to it, and then say everyone else is wrong.
Okay, we're gonna say Chiron, because that's how I've been
Chiron.
saying it, because it's Chiron.
Hmm.
So it's Chiron Rising now. Even if that's wrong, you're wrong. Not us. You're wrong.
We're right.
We're right. Always. We're always right.
100%.
But yeah, it was like an old like zine from like the early 90s, mid 90s, somewhere around there. I believe the guy that started it was like in Palm Springs. And I think it started with just so basically what it is it's like a monthly like zine or newsletter or whatever, where the guy would get pictures of like older gay men, and they weren't always like sexual. Sometimes like they were like fully clothed or whatever, or they were just like in a bathing suit, but a lot of times they were like nude. But even if they were nude, they weren't really like sexual. They were just like nudes, you know what I mean? And so like he would just post pictures of like maybe two or three different people, and each one would have like a section in the zine, and he would like give like some information on the person.
Would they
And
be flaccid, even though they were not sexual? Like,
yeah, they would be like flaccid. I
okay,
mean, I don't know, sometimes they would maybe like be like at,
fluff them.
40% maybe. They were not, it's not that they, so I'm sure there were probably like some that were like somewhat sexual, but like most of the time it wasn't sexual. It was just like a nude photo of like an older gay man. Or like I said, they would be wearing a bathing suit or something. Like it wasn't always like completely nude, but it was always like some level of undress. And but that wasn't even really like the unique thing about it. Like, because you could get naked pictures of guys anywhere on the internet. The writing style and the narrative of the magazine, of the zine, is I think what was so like unique, and what made it so popular, because it was so just like, it was written in so just like guy next door type vernacular, that it was like your grandpa was just like explaining these guys to you. And I think that is what the appeal of the zine was. And so I remember when I was just coming out, I mean, I was coming out way after, like, I think it was still going when I was just coming out, but I think it was like towards the end of its run when I was just coming out. And it was like one of the first things that I kind of discovered when I was just coming out, because I was like looking for different, like, obviously looking for porn, but like also but also just like different like sort of, gay like kind of cultural kind of things or whatever. And so that hit my radar, because like I've always been into old gay men. uh and and so like it was like, it is sort of like this early, like this early memory for me of like coming out, is this zine. And it always like, and the guys, it would always either just be like their first name, or it would be like where they're from and their first name. So it would be like James, or it would be like Kansas Ken.
I love it. So would it only be when they could do alliteration with it, or
It kind of was. Well, I mean, it was always like, I mean, it wasn't always an alliteration, because, like, I mean, if they're from Louisiana but their name is Ron, then they would just be like Louisiana Ron, you know? Or like Baton Rouge Ron or something, like it would always be like, it would be some combination of like just their first name, or like the place that they're from and their first name. Like it would always be kind of like that. And It started, I think, as just guys around Palm Springs, because I think the guy that ran it was from Palm Springs, California. But then, like, as it kind of got more popular, I think like one of two things started happening. Either guys were just sending pictures to this guy, like on their own, and then he would do like a phone call with them to get some like information so that he could write his narrative about them. Or he would literally fly out and do the photo shoot for them. But the thing is, the pictures were always like they were always like very low quality, like home film camera kind of quality. Like it didn't look like he was using any kind of like special equipment, you know. It always
Mhm.
looked like it was just like a point and shoot. Like you load the film in and you take the film out and you take it to like, you know, CVS, and then they like develop the film for you and give you the pictures. You know, it was always like that level of quality. So not only do you have this guy who has a very like warm grandfatherly sort of like writing style, but you also have these like home like family album quality pictures. So it literally was like you were looking at a family album of your like gay naked grandfather.
Oh, I love it. It's so wholesome.
And they were like really long. It would be like it would be like I first met Montana Mike at a bar in Reno in 1983, and at the time Ron was into rodeo clowning, and, and it would just be this really long like thing, and it would be like a couple of years later we bumped into each other again in San Francisco at Folsom Alley Street Fair. By then, Ron had moved on and had began obtaining his pilot's license. He was doing short runs from L.A. to New Mexico. It would always be like this really long, like just like narrative on like the guy's background, like
Did
things
it
that he's interested in, things that he's done, things that he's doing.
did it have any sponsorships? Or is
Yeah,
this
no, there it was never like big sponsorships, but it would be like, local real estate agents in Palm Springs, or like different like kind of like crystal shops, or and they would just take ads out in the back of the zine.